You ever catch that look in a woman's eyes? That moment when her body stays still, but something in her gaze is blazing. When she's too quiet, so silent you can feel something deeper, darker, simmering behind that perfect arch of her brow. That isn't just attraction. It's not mere desire. That is a fantasy lying dormant, waiting to be set off. And here's the twist. Most men never step into that space. They stick to safe ground. They stay polite. They ask for permission, and then wonder why she never feels fully alive with them in love or in bed. But when you do it differently, she'll be yours in ways even she won't know how to explain. And before we move on, I've got something special for you, AOA free ebook, called the Female Mind Control Handbook. Inside, you'll uncover the hidden keys to making any woman crave you. Snag your copy now, links in the description or the pinned comment. Let's begin. 1. The take control trigger. This is why she secretly longs to be claimed by a man who never asks. Here's what no woman will admit outright. I want a man who doesn't need to check if I'm ready. I want him to simply know. That isn't disrespect. It's certainty. It's emotional dominance. The kind she pretends to resist but silently yearns for. Ever notice how women tear through books like 50 Shades of Grey? Why the bad boy never really goes away. Why the brooding, quiet man draws her in without effort. Because he stands for something she craves but can't control. Not cruelty or ego, but authority, presence, command. She wants to feel overpowered by a man who's entirely in command of himself. That's the paradox. The fantasy isn't about being bullied. It's about surrendering without fear. And a high-value man knows surrender only happens when she can trust your leadership. How do you spark this dark fantasy? By becoming the man who never has to raise his voice to be felt. You walk in, and she senses you before you've spoken. You meet her gaze, and her breath stutters. You reach for her hand, not to request but to lead. That is the trigger. Certainty. 2. The forbidden protector fantasy. She dreams of being rescued, though she never confess it. She declared to everyone she doesn't need saving. That she's fierce, independent, untouchable. She's stacked her walls high, and she's proud of them. But inside, there's a part of her that longs to be caught, not by someone soft, not by someone who falls apart the moment she does, but by a man who sees through her defenses and calmly says, I've got you. This isn't about playing her hero. It's about becoming her refuge, the one place she can stop pretending. Because here's her secret. She may command her world all day, but when she's with you, she wants to collapse into your strength and feel safe in her softness. Triggering this fantasy doesn't require grand gestures. It's the quiet moments that whisper, you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. Hold her gaze when she's unraveling. Guide her into stillness when her mind won't stop racing. Stand there unshaken when she tries to push you away, testing whether you'll stay. The steadier you remain, the more her emotional chaos starts to orbit you rather than consume you. And once she feels that, she'll start revealing all the parts she hides from the world. 3. The masquerade fantasy. She wants you to see the side of her no one else ever does. You know, the part that smiles in public, that flirts, that plays the role. That's her mask, and every woman wears one. But what she truly fantasizes about is the man who can see past it. The man who catches the tremor in her voice and doesn't call her out. He simply understands. You don't expose her, you witness her. And that is the intimacy most men will never touch. Triggering this isn't about confrontation. It's about attunement. You watch her closely, her tone, her silences, her gestures. You respond without reacting, and in your presence, she feels stripped bare, but safe. She may insist, I'm fine. But when you lean in, touch her face, and say, you don't have to be, she melts. Because now, behind the mask, she isn't alone anymore. You've stepped inside. The secret world in her mind, the one she didn't even know she was desperate to share. And once she feels that, She doesn't just want your touch, she needs it. 4. The controlled chaos fantasy. This one's primal, the fantasy she'd never admit aloud. Not to friends, not even in her own journals. It's the most potent, dangerous, intoxicating fantasy. Losing control in your hands. She wants to surrender to something bigger than her fears, bigger than her moods, bigger than her constant thinking. And it's not about force, it's about being so anchored that she can finally fall apart without falling alone. You don't lose your center. You guide, you breathe, you hold. Triggering this is about presence. You don't ask her what she needs, you sense it before she finds words. You slow her down when she spirals. You press pause when she rushes. You hold her closer when she resists. And in that dance, she unravels. She isn't afraid of the dark with you. She wants to explore it because you're her anchor. When a woman discovers a man who can handle her fire, she set his world ablaze just to keep close to him. 5. The silent obsession fantasy. When you become the thought she can't shake. This last fantasy doesn't demand any words. It's not about seduction, or dominance, or safety. It's about your echo. You spark this fantasy when you stop chasing and start living with unshakable confidence. When you show her that her rejection didn't break you, that you're not lurking on her stories, not reacting to her games. You're building, evolving, glowing, and suddenly, she can't stop thinking of you. It's the mystery, the restraint, the way your energy lingers in every room you leave. She starts to crave your presence, but now she's unsure if she can reach you. That's why it becomes a fantasy. Because the most haunting man is never the loudest. He's the one who touched her soul, then disappeared without needing validation. You become her obsession, and she'll never admit it. But she'll replay your voice, your gaze, the way you once knew her over and over again. Now you've seen it. Not the fantasy she posts on her profile. Not the sweet little checklist she rattles off to friends. You've glimpsed the real one, the fantasy she keeps hidden. And if you're still here, you're not average. You're not safe. You are a man of presence, a man who can hold fire without flinching. So I'll leave you with this. She doesn't want a man who asks for permission. She wants the man who ignites her mind, her body, her soul. If that's you, don't shrink. Become the one fantasy. She never confess, but will never forget. If something stirred in youth, you're tired of playing it soft in a world that only answers to strength. This channel isn't for weak men. It's for the few who lead with clarity, command, and masculine depth. Type the word obsession in the comments if you've ever seen that look in her eyes, the one where she almost gave in. If you've felt that magnetic pull, if you're ready to become the man she secretly dreams of, type it, own it, trigger it.